In today's movie review, I'm going to be watching the dystopian action thriller The Running Man, which is directed by Edgar Wright and stars Glenn Powell, William H. Macy, Josh Brolin and Lee Pace. First, let's give you the plot. In a near-future media-dominated dystopia, down-and-out blue-collar father Ben Richards is coerced into a brutal televised game show, The Running Man, where contestants must survive 30 days while being hunted by elite killers. He becomes an unexpected fan favourite and symbol of resistance, forcing the system behind the game to reckon with its own corruption. There's been two previous versions of this story. First, we had a novel by Stephen King under the pseudonym Richard Bachman, which came out in 1982. And then we had a feature film which came out in 1987 that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've watched this film growing up, I absolutely love it, I could quote you a lot of the lines, it's a really fun movie. But today's movie remake is expected to more closely follow the original novel. It's crazy the similarities because this happened many years ago when Total Recall came out, like a remake of it. First we had a novel, then we had a feature film which also starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then we had a remake come out years later. So have you seen that remake of Total Recall and what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. I did actually quite like it on the first viewing, but then I watched it again years later and I sort of turned it off about quarter of the way through because I just found it quite boring. And as I said, that film more closely followed the original novel. It was a case of that film just was no way near as much fun as the Arnie film. I really hope that's not a case today, but we'll soon see. Excitement level, it's not really high, but it is up there. I watched the trailer, I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually quite curious to see another Glenn Powell film where he's taking on a more prominent role after 2024's Twisters, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was very good. But seeing another film with Edgar Wright as a director, I'm not so sure now. I absolutely love his Cornetto trilogy with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, but I recently did watch Scott Pilgrim vs. the World as that came back in cinemas, and that's a film I'd never seen. I watched it, everyone told me it was great, and I really just did not enjoy it. So that's kind of made me a little bit worried for today. So just before I go in, it's always nice to see new things in here to look at. And first of all, something that's just caught my eye is we have the Odeon Advent calendars. I've never seen something like this before. So if you pick up one of these, what it is, it says you can get, includes 2 Odeon cinema tickets with it. That already tells me this must be a little bit pricey. And it's got a load of different popcorn in each of the windows. But hang on, there's, oh, someone's ripped that, but you can just see behind it, there's all like the windows on there. And over here we have what with Predator Badlands, which I just recently watched. You can check out the review for that on my channel. But we've got here the popcorn buckets. Check these out. These actually look pretty cool. I'm really impressed by that, although I gotta say that's not a great big opening to get your hand in there for popcorn, but I love the novelty of it. Certainly one of those you're gonna sort of, if you're a Predator fan, you could display that and be pretty proud to have that in on your shelf somewhere, I guess. If you've also been watching the channel for a little while, you know that my mate Rich pops up from time to time, and he has actually bought this. So now it's time to go in and watch the movie. As always, if you like the content, do press like and subscribe. And of course, I'll let you know my thoughts after the movie. So the movie's now over. I'm gonna go over the highlights and then the hang-ups, starting of course with the highlights. Before I get into the positives and negatives, I think I'm just going to say up front, I'm probably going to make a lot of comparisons to the original film, the 1987 Arnie one. Loved how this movie started out. The first half of this movie was very good. The movie wasted no time right from the off, telling you everything you needed to know about what this world was like to live in, what was going to happen going forward, and what all the rules of the game show itself and how they were going to affect our main character. It was very good at doing lots of world building. I've not seen as many that feel as lived in as this. Inside the apartments, everything looks run down, really old, to when they're out on the streets and everyone's basically poor, everything's being controlled by the government. Yes, they had that in the Arnie movie, but I think here it was a lot more fleshed out. You could see why so many people who are so desperate would be forced to go on the game show. They showed a lot of different games in this. His wife is like, look, whatever you do, just don't go on the Running Man show because people just don't come back from that one. In this one, his motivation, I like his motivation, which is, I believe, what the book does as well, in that he's after medication for his sick daughter, and that's what takes him onto the show. In the Arnie one, I think he was a convicted criminal, was kind of forced into that position. I like how it plays better in this one. It gives it some stakes. It gives you a natural emotional attachment to the character because you want to see him do good. You want to see his family come out of this unscathed and doing okay. As I'm watching the movie, you can definitely tell Edgar Wright was directing this film. It's definitely got his stamp on how he likes to shoot things, how he does his comedy. The comedy was actually really, really good. For me, the first half of the movie is definitely the best half of it. I really, really enjoyed that first half. It was absolutely fantastic. And like I said, the humor was just spot on. In it, you've got not just Ben Richards, but you've got two other characters on the Running Man show. One of them was just there for pure laughs, and it was really, really funny. I don't want to spoil it, but what they do with him, how he goes about trying to keep himself alive on the show, or rather doing completely the opposite of it. He's got a very blasé attitude to it. The performances by the entire cast were spot on. I thought Glenn Powell carried the movie very, very well. He's got charisma. He doesn't have like the most charisma, certainly not compared to say Arnie, but he's definitely got something there. He does keep you watching him on screen. Josh Brolin as Killian did a great job. He's almost like the master of the entire show. He's basically the main bad guy. His performance drew you in, loved his lines, loved his delivery of them. He felt like he had a bigger control over this world than what the original guy did in that other film. I just remembered there was actually a little nod to Arnie, and expect to see someone from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I didn't enjoy them in that film, but I did enjoy them in this one. Another thing I noticed which was different from the original film is the Running Man show covered such a wide span of area compared to the other one. In the other one, it was kind of confined to their studio. This one, the running people can go literally wherever they like. They go all over the world and they're hunted wherever they go. I did like all the little rules that they had. The contestants had to post videos, had to vlog for like 10 minutes every day and actually physically post them in a post box each and every day, which was kind of interesting because that really kind of exposes them. And every citizen in this world during the game is encouraged to film the contestant, give away their location, and they will get money for it. So I liked all those little added little rules, and I enjoyed the way that the film explained those to me. I really enjoyed the action in this film. Some of the bits you would have seen in the trailer, those bits were really great to see again and see how they sort of play out. But also there were some other ones that I wasn't expecting. Top marks to the action in this film. I did feel whilst watching it that I was actually going on a journey with Ben Richards, and it was a satisfying resolution to the story by the end. I enjoyed where it finished up. It did have, as I said earlier, a very Edgar Wright feel. The way this movie ends is very, very Edgar Wright. Hang-ups. The second half of this film is not as good as the first half. It does struggle with its pacing in the second half, and a lot of it does feel, at times, it does slow down a little bit. And what niggled me a little bit was some parts of it felt very exposition heavy at times. It was what was slowing the movie down because the movie kept having to pause and tell me what was going on rather than just go ahead and just let things play out. So in addition to Ben Richards being the running man, we also have the hunters. I liked them in this film, but I no way near enjoyed them as much as I did in the Arnie original. In those, they had real characters. So, yeah, some of them were a little bit over the top, but that's what added to their charm and really sort of drew you into their performances. In this, they're kind of just like there's one main guy and a bunch of army guys around him. Because I guess that's what the book did, that's what this film did as well. The Arnie film does the hunters much, much better. Final rating. This was a solid film. I really, really enjoyed it. I love the differences between this one and the original. It's got pros and cons compared to it. Although I enjoy the 87 film more, but that's probably because I've seen it so many times as well. I've only seen this film once. There are things this film does better than that other film. The world building, the dystopian vibe, all that stuff was done miles better in this film. But when it comes to certain performances and certain characters like the hunters, they were a lot more enjoyable in that 87 film. But again, if that sounded negative, I want to just re-emphasize the positive in that the performances by all the cast were very, very good. I enjoyed them, and I appreciated the emotional attachment to Ben Richards, which you didn't have in that other film. If you're on the fence as to whether to go watch this, I would say definitely give it a watch. It's a good fun time at the movies, and it does enough different to make it worth seeing. So I'm giving the 2025 version of The Running Man 4 stars. Have you seen The Running Man? If you have, let me know in the comments below. Did you like this film? Did you enjoy it more than the original or not? If you enjoyed this movie review and you found it helpful, leave us a like and subscribe, and you can check out my other playlists which include other movie reviews, movie attraction vlogs and movie locations and much more. I want to thank you again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.